Hi, everyone. Kim here, Abundant Life Tarot. Thank you so much for joining me. We haven't done one of these in a while. We got little favorites videos and catching up and seeing how y'all are doing in the world, this crazy, crazy world. Oh my God. I can't believe they expect us to just go to work, pay our taxes, and act as if nothing's going on. It's just wild to me. How are you all doing? How are you doing? So yeah, we're going to do a catch up. I'm going to share with you a deck that is on my table right now that I pulled down and was working with. And then I'm going to share some decks that I was loving and reconnecting with in January 2026. So thank you for joining me. If you're catching the replay, do me a favor, hit the like button, hype the video, and leave me a comment. Let me know what decks you have been reconnecting with this year, at the start of this year. So let's talk about the deck that is on my reading table right now. It is the Tazama African Tarot. This deck right here. Matte gold gilding. Got some prettiness going on in this. Look at that. I used it for a Poised to Leap collective reading. That's my membership on Ko-fi and on my channel membership, but also for client readings and a reading for myself. And I just adore it. I love a deck that changes the coloring, right? Because in the traditional Rider-Waite-Smith, you have certain colors that mean certain things. If you understand working with symbolism and even the color that Pamela Coleman Smith used in her art for the cards, you understand that even that is very intentional, right? However, I love when deck creators, turn it on its head. And so this is what I find fresh about this deck. Here is the Five of Pentacles. Look at that. And the wands, which I would normally expect like a warm yellow or orange color. Instead, we got my favorite color, like this jade turquoise color with the wands. Isn't that pretty? And then the swords. Let me see if I can find a swords. Let me see if I can find a swords card. The blue for the cups makes sense. You know, it's like watery elements. But then the pentacles, we would expect something like green, earthy, brown. We've got this deep orange. But let me show you the swords. Here's the Four of Swords. It's like this orangey color. And I like it. It takes you out of your usual comfort zone of the Rider-Waite-Smith. That is my home system of working with tarot. There's the Lovers. So this is the deck that I put on my table. I'm being very intentional this year about decks that I'm using. I incorporate a new deck each month in my working tarot decks. I usually keep two. I keep either, this one is always my go-to, the traditional Smith Waite borderless US Games deck. Keep that on the table. I also have my busted up. it's so beat up. My busted Rider-Waite-Smith deck, but I like it because it's got certain elements. It's got yes, no meanings, upright and reversal meanings, and I just use it in all of my client readings when I want to just have an extra deck on deck. And then I will incorporate a deck that I haven't touched or used in a while that I want to reconnect with. So each month I'm very intentional about adding a deck to my working decks box over here to my left. You know what I'm saying? So here's the Ace of Pentacles. So I'll be working with this one. I'm going to put it in there. I'll show you what deck I have for January in my working decks collection. Keep mostly Oracle decks in my working decks because they can like speak to different situations. Career. I have two career decks. I have one life general life deck. I also have, no, actually two general life, and then some other oracle decks, timing decks. Hold on one second, friends. Hold on one second. It's my husband calling. What do you want, sir? Hello? Hey. Sorry, y'all. So we got all sorts of issues going on out here. So now I can get into like the nuts and bolts of what's going on with me. Next week is my birthday. Oh my gosh. Oh my goodness. Do me a favor for my birthday, like my video, subscribe if you haven't subscribed. My birthday is February 10th. My son, my oldest child, his birthday was on the 5th. He was due on my birthday. He was due on the 10th. And he came 5 days before my birthday. And then it turned out that he was actually late. Like back in the day, he's 28 years old. So this is 28 years ago. Like it was pretty much you could dial in on your due date, but there was still like a variation. If you didn't know exactly when you conceived your baby, it could be a variation. So he actually was late. But I was kind of worried being a young mom. I was about to be 18 when I had him, and I was like, I want my own birthday. And so I set that intention, and he came 5 days early. So, but he is my mini me. He loves cards. He's very much into law of attraction and manifestation. He's traveled the world. Um, each child we have a special, unique bond, but he is definitely my most mini me. He's a creative. And we just get each other. Like, yeah. So his birthday was 2 days ago, right? What's today? No, yesterday. The days are blurring. So my birthday's next week. But I was saying, our motorcycle is having issues. Something going on with our one bathroom toilet. We got to go to the Ferreteria, which is like the little Home Depots out here. Everything is just going all crazy this week with repairs on the vehicles and the bathrooms, which kind of sucks. But my birthday, I'm planning on taking some time off from client readings next week. I'll still be doing membership stuff, but I'm going to take some time off. I'm going to be a beach bum. I'm going to eat my favorite meals. I'm going to watch my favorite comedy shows. Cat Williams is dropping a comedy special. It better be good. Comedy special on my actual birthday on Netflix. So I'm going to be watching that and just really enjoying myself on my birthday. I'm going to be the big 4-6. Okay. So yeah, I'm super duper excited. You know, it's always an exciting thing to make another year, right? It always is. So we'll take it. Let me see what you all are saying. Hey, Donna. Thank you for being here, friend. I'm so happy you're here. How are you doing? Let me know. And thank you for wishing me a happy birthday in advance. I'm super excited about this birthday for some reason. I mean, every birthday I'm excited about. But, you know, it's like, no, I'm going to be intentional. I'm going to give myself some space and take time off. That's what we're going to do. All right. Now, I wanted to share with you some books that I'm planning on. I hope I can learn how to share this. Some books that I plan on reading in the next month or so. Month or so. So I'm going to share with you. Make sure I can share my screen. Oh dear. Okay, share screen. They've changed it. I haven't been live in a long time on here on YouTube. I've been going live the last couple of weeks on Instagram. I'm trying to reconnect with my Instagram community over there. And I've been doing something called Sanctuary Sunday. I do a collective reading for us, for those who are drawn to, watch the video. And I do a 3 card pick a card for self-care, your homework for self-care. So check it out. If you don't follow me on Instagram, follow me and join in on Sanctuary Sunday. And if you can't join in live, that's okay. You can watch the replay. And I do it so that way I don't give it away. So you can pick your card and then see the message. So check it out. It's been fun. I haven't done that in a while. Just hanging out on Instagram just for the sake of it. Okay, so I think I'm showing you all Tom Benjamin's book. So my good friend Donna, who I do collabs with for Artistry of Cartomancy, stay tuned. We've got more episodes coming this year, and we're working on something for later this month to do for you. It's going to be fun. But we wanted to read this book, and it is The Modern Fortune Teller's Field Guide by our very own Tom Benjamin. He has an amazing channel. And Donna was like, you've got to read this book. You got to read it. It's top tier. I've been following Tom Benjamin for a long time, and I'm excited to dive into this book. So she's been reading it. I'm going to start reading it, and then we're going to have some discussions around the content of the book. And Tom, if you happen to watch this, we would love for you to join us on an Artistry of Cartomancy in the near future. Okay. But first I got to read the book. Okay. So this is the book that I want to dive into. And let's see what it says. Historically, fortune tellers have always stood on the margins of society and been villainized by the Christo-colonial powers that view divination as competition. The Modern Fortune Teller's Field Guide takes a contemporary and engaged approach to divination with a strong focus on social responsibility. Because fortune tellers can see the world as it is, they serve as a threat to structures that benefit from secrecy. Oh, yeah, they do. The Modern Fortune Teller's Field Guide is an essential guide to anyone seeking theory and history along divinatory knowledge. Though anyone today can pick up a pack of tarot cards or begin casting bones, fortune tellers have a responsibility in taking up that work to not only consider the forebears who suffered for that art, but also to understand the systems of oppression that impact our clients. We must understand that spiritually, bypassing a client's reality is not only ineffective, but also cruel. And so, we touched on this during Artistry of Cartomancy, I think the last couple of episodes, and we had Auntie Kay's Tarot on there visiting us. And so, definitely want to get into that book. So if you start reading that book, maybe we could even have like a little book discussion thing going on over here on the channel. You all let me know, but I'm going to be reading it. I'm excited about it. The other one that I wanted to mention, let's see what Donna says before I get into the other book. Donna says, I'm doing okay. It's been a long, tough winter, though. Oh, I know, yo. Now, I'm assuming you're meaning weather-wise and also just energetically. I am on Facebook. Hi, I am on Facebook. Abundant Life Tarot is on Facebook. So if you want to follow me there, definitely follow me there. I'm active over there. So yes, I am on Facebook. Thank you for asking. And welcome. Yeah, it's been intense. I know it's been super cold. Yeah, it's been cold. Even the cold has been coming on down to the Caribbean where I'm at. Not as cold, obviously, as in North America or probably Europe. But yeah, it's been chilly where I've had to scramble to find something warm to wear, which is not usual. Hey, MA, the Gray. Thank you for joining me. How are you doing? Thank you for being here. Welcome. Energetically, emotionally, I figured. I figured you meant that. And also the fact that I've had no heat for nearly 3 months. Oh my God. That's one thing I cannot stand. I can deal with being hot because then I could probably go take a cold shower. I could go to the ocean. I cannot deal with being cold. I've spent a lot of money on warming my home when I lived in Northern California. And I know that's people are like, you don't know cold. I know, relatively speaking, but I'm sorry. I feel for you, my friend. I feel for you. But energetically, emotionally, it's been a lot going on in the atmosphere. It really has. I I mean, there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. It's just been rough. And for a variety of reasons. And I just wish that it wasn't. I wish that we could just live in peace. But here we are. We are at we're at a crossroads of where do we go from here? And when we expect leaders to lead and then they don't show up and lead, we have to be the ones. We, the people, have to be the ones to collectively carry each other and carry ourselves and do what we need to do. And I'm not going to get all political right now, but that's just what it is because we are literally like we're expecting these people to have morals and they don't. We're expecting them to have some form of leadership skills and they don't. So it's really heartbreaking. It's devastating, it's scary. It's all those things. So yeah. Let me figure out how to share this again. Oops. I'm always like trying to figure out how to do something on these technological streets. So the next thing I'm going to share with you is this other book that's been on my list that I want to read. It's the Psychic Hotline Handbook, Mastering the Art of Intuitive Guidance While Making Fortunes from Home, The Profitable Psychic by Christina Quick. And I have to tell you, I've been a fan of Christina's since I wanted to be a professional reader. And she was like my mentor, if you will, via YouTube and Facebook of how to go about reading professionally, starting up your own professional business on Etsy. And then primarily, I gained a lot of insight and information from her on working on the hotlines. And let me just tell you, if you all have gifts and talents as it relates to reading the cards and you feel this tug to read for others, but you know, like you need some sort of energetic exchange, like being paid for your time and energy, consider going pro. Even if you did it part-time, whether you set up shop on your own website or Etsy or any other, platform, or especially hotlines. Hey, do it. I did hotlines and professional readings part-time for many years before it became my main bread and butter. And I'm so grateful, in these lean times, it could be very helpful to share your gifts and be compensated for them. So this book, I've been hearing great things about it. I'm going to read it. I have a membership where people come and they are, being mentored by me one-on-one or in tiny group settings on how to become a professional reader. I also do mentoring to those who are not even interested in being professional readers. I have academics, I have creatives, other business folk. But when I started my Ko-fi membership, it was in mind I wanted to have a place and space and resources for those who want to read professionally. So yeah. Let's see what we got going on. Oh, yay. Oh, my goodness. I have started reconnecting again with the Hoodoo Tarot in my own practice, my own Hoodoo practice, there was a slight disconnect. So it makes my heart so happy. And it's just another sign from the universe for me to keep going and maybe even do some sort of revisit in the near future. That was my pride and joy, the time we all had together in the Facebook group. I have, just so you all know, I did pause the Abundant Life Tarot Facebook group, but you can still access the play, the resources, the posts that we did surrounding the Hoodoo Tarot study. I did a few tarot studies back in the day, and that was one of the most near and dear to my heart. So you can see all of our posts. And if you need help joining that, just reach out to me if you have trouble joining the group, the Abundant Life Tarot group on Facebook. You can email me at abundantlifetarot@gmail.com. But there's a playlist. There's a playlist on YouTube. Have at it. Ask me questions. I reply to comments as best I can. So I could be right there along with you. I'm so happy you found it. It is so frustrating. It's so frustrating. All we want to do is live, y'all. Like, can we just live? Why is there all these clowns, these rich clowns, making it hard for the rest of us? These weirdos making it hard for the rest of us. I'm so tired. It is a new horror. Every day is a new horror. I open up, you open up your phone or your computer and you're like, I'm going back to bed. I don't even know, like, what's going on. It is scary. It's just like, what is going on? But you know what? These are the times that the rest of us who get humanity and prioritize maintaining our humanity and humility, we need to rally and come together and find ways to support one another, uplift one another, and fight alongside with one another. Okay, Donna, let's see. Donna says, I'm not ready to go pro, but I wish I had more opportunities to read for others. Exactly. You know what? You could do it in person. You could do in-person readings, and I can make some suggestions. I won't do it here, but I can, if you want to have more of a discussion about that, maybe I might do a post on the Facebook page, Abundant Life Tarot Facebook page, about the different ways you could read for others, but not necessarily collecting money for it, and all the ways in which you could get the word out. I had started a website, and I knew I wanted to do readings virtually. And I started offering like contests for people to win readings from me to kind of generate more interest on my site. And I also would just say, hey, I need readings. I want to do readings for people, even if it wasn't a contest. I'm like, I invited people, submit your questions, and I'll do a little video reading, or I'll do, usually it was video readings, but I'll do something for you where I can give you your reading. And it was wonderful. It fed me for so many years. And then I felt this urge, like, I want to go to the next level and the next level. And now here we are. I'm reading professionally. But some people just like to just read from time to time and not go pro per se. Okay. Let me know. Are you interested in like, well, let me know which part, because I've been yapping already. So let me know. Oh, that was such a great study group. Yep, that's right. Oh my gosh, yes. So that study group has started at the tail end of my time in the U.S. before, and it was during COVID, and it was at a time where I said, I think I'm ready to leave the U.S. and go live abroad. And so I had started the study at the end of 2020, you're spot on. And then it was the bulk of 2021 when I first lived in like this rental place when we first moved out here to Dominican Republic. And oh my gosh, everybody was going through something, but everybody was just having these beautiful moments with the Hoodoo Tarot together. And it was my best one. I think it was my favorite one of all the tarot studies we did. It was my favorite. I miss it. I miss that community that we had there. Yes, it's such a wonderful deck. It's the only deck I tend to use for when I'm working with my ancestors. It's the only deck that, let me reframe that. It's the only deck they're also willing to work with me on, because yeah, I'll just leave it at that. Yeah. Okay. Wonderful. I will create a post on my Facebook page, and it'll just be a place where we could throw ideas of how we can reach out and read for others and get the word out that you want to read for others. Sometimes when I did that though, I ended up having like friends and family who wanted to read for like wanted me to read for them, which is fine. But me in 2016, 2017, doing readings for anyone and everyone, including friends and family, is totally different than the Kim in 2026. I don't actually prefer to read for people I know. I'm too personally invested. I'm biased. It's not a good fit. um, and I feel I don't, and then it feels this weirdness about charging for them, even though my peeps would probably pay. But then it's just like, they just maybe assume I'm doing this as a hobby. There's still people to this day that think I do this as a hobby. No, this is my business. This is what I do day in and day out. I sleep and breathe cartomancy. And it just gets odd. And I actually prefer reading for strangers. I love it. I can't get enough of it. But there are ways to read for strangers where you don't have to necessarily collect money from them. Hey, Bev. Hi, welcome. I'm so happy you're here. Yes, welcome, welcome, welcome. We're just over here catching up. Just like, whoo, all the things going on. I want to tap into reading for others to connect with Source on a spiritual level. Amen. You and I think you and we're from the same kind of folk, kinfolk. I love being able to realize the connections with the guardians. Yes, right. And having those epiphanies and those serendipitous moments that come about. And you're like, look at spirit, like look at me being a conduit for spirit and look at all that I'm sharing. And then sometimes you'd be like, I don't even know why I'm sharing this. And then the person you read for is like, oh my gosh, I know exactly what you're talking about. I'm like getting goosebumps just now talking about it. I think that's what I get hooked on. If I had to be addicted to something, I get hooked on that. Yes. Oh, thank you. Oh, I'm so happy. That was my baby. I was passionate about that. That playlist right there, the Hoodoo playlist. And I can tell people still go to it because those videos are linked to my website. So you know how you could track like traffic. And even to this day, and I'm thinking to myself, why are people like interested? And I haven't watched those videos in years, so I don't know. But I remember how I felt when I was creating those videos. So maybe that's why. I'm scared of others' energies. People are on other stuff that's not positive. I would do it for free for those I love. Absolutely. And I know I have many friends in our world, in our tarot, oracle reading world, that just want to align with folks who are similar vibrations, who will resonate with our readings, and people we really care about. And you can have that. Other people's energies, I will say this, reading professionally, it's actually pretty rare that I run up against someone who's like totally negative and oddball or like ill-wishing. Actually, it's kind of rare. And I know that sounds crazy, but it's kind of rare. Most people actually have really beautiful hearts, even if they're new to this, this tarot oracle readings, whether they receive readings or they're reading for others, they're new. I just find that people generally speaking are kind-hearted. Yes. Let's see what Donna says. I feel like I have too much inside info with my friends and family. Absolutely, for reading for others, right? And wonder how much of the reading is actual intuition, though I did have a nice experience reading for my friend over the summer. Exactly. So that's like, for example, one of my besties that I've known since I was 12 years old. She wants me to do like a reading on like her, her dad who crossed over and her relationship, like her marriage. And I'm like, I think I know too much. And I feel like I could parse through and make it through, but I'm like, I don't know. Now, I've had friends who ask me about careers, and we don't usually talk about their careers. So I feel like I could probably navigate that as objectively as possible. But I don't know. I like working with strangers better. I don't know. It's just me. Not everybody's like that though. Everybody's unique in who they want to read for. Oh my goodness. Well, you can definitely link up with me to be your mentor. I would be honored. I'd be honored. There are ways to do that. You could, as you've been doing with YouTube, you could keep watching my videos. Apparently, I have like 1,500 videos or some odd number, like some crazy number of videos. You could, join me on Facebook on my page, um, or you could join my Ko-fi membership. And that is geared towards mentorship in any capacity, whether you want to read for others, read for yourself, or you're on some other creative or spiritual endeavor. And I'd be honored. I'd be honored. And I keep the cost really low because there is, for Ko-fi memberships, there is a cost, but I keep it very low because I want people to be able to have access. Yes, I'm going to trust your words. Yes, Donna, it's very true. Also, I know too much for my siblings and children, right? Same thing with children. Some of my kids and my son, one of my sons is married. Even his wife, I feel like she loves me doing readings for her. But I'm like, I feel like I know too much. I know too much. It's not right. It's not right. I shouldn't be all up in y'all business like that. And same with siblings. My baby sister, she would let me do readings. She's one of my first clients. And one of my old classmates from junior high and high school was one of my clients. And that was back in the day, back 2016, 2017. And they allowed me to do readings for them. And I'm grateful for that. And yeah, I knew some of their business, but what I gained from reading for them was priceless. Now, do I read for them now? No. And I'm okay with that. They would probably be totally wanting me to do a reading for them. I just like to have that professional distance. Well, now that we got all that out of the way, I mentioned IG. Join me over there. You know what I'm saying? Where's my little notes? So I know a lot of you are doing low buy years or low buy years. I was supposed to do a low buy last year, and yeah, I blew my budget. If you all don't know, during 2020, I was like, I need to do a depth year. No buy, low buy of decks, crystals, all the things. And I was successful, so successful, in fact, that I created like a little course to help people to figure out where they are in their collecting journey, where they are in their reading practice, because it evolves over time. And I also assigned moon phases to our collecting, like waxing moon phase, you're acquiring, you're getting all the decks. You're buying decks without abandon and no judgment. Maybe you are in the full moon phase where any deck you bring in, you know, you're letting go of a deck, or the number of decks you have is pretty solid. It's full. There's the waning phase, where you are starting to cull your collection. You're selling decks, you're giving away decks, you're not bringing in as many decks. And some people, sometimes they might go from full moon, waxing to full moon, back to waxing again. Some people might be in the full moon to waning phase. And so I created something. There's videos, there's a playlist. I think I linked it in this video's description. You can check it out to help you support your journey. I knew when I was going back to the US, though, that I was going to end up spending a bunch of money on decks. And I did. My budget for last year for decks in its entirety was $350 US. And I'm looking at my little notes. I spent $622.91. I keep a spreadsheet of all the decks, by the way, that I purchased. And yeah. And I went over budget by $272.91. Okay. And I understood where it was coming from. And of that, I spent $148.46 on tarot decks. I'm much more selective about the tarot decks I get versus Oracle. And you can see it now. Oracle, I spent $474.45. So it was the bulk of my spending in 2025. I carried that budget again, $350 US this year. So far, I've spent $58.18, $26.18 on Oracle, 2 Oracle decks, and $32 on a Tarot deck. $58. I think I'm going to do better this year. Even if I go visit the US, I think I'm good. I'm going to be selling a bunch of decks. I'm actually going to devote one whole suitcase to decks I'm bringing back to the US to ship and sell and give away. So yeah. How are you all doing? How are you doing with that? Low buy, in case some people are like, what is that? It's when you're very intentional about not spending very much, if anything, on the particular thing you usually spend on. So some people, it could be books, it could be crystals, it could be decks. And you're like, I'm going to be intentional. For me, it helps because I don't need all the decks. And as you collect over the years, as you read for yourself and for others over the years, your tastes become pretty refined to a point where you can look at a deck and know if it's going to work for you or not. I've created spreads that you can do to ask your tried and true decks, should you bring in a new deck to your collection? Done that. And I do that still. I still consult a spread, just to be like, do I need to bring you in here? Am I going crazy gaga over a deck? And I only have identified really like 2 or 3 decks I want to get this year. And then the rest, let's just chill out. Let's just relax a little. Let's just relax. Donna says, the flip side is you might find out things you'd rather not know. Exactly, about reading for other, like family members or friends or even coworkers. I used to do a lot of readings for colleagues before I decided to walk away from my professional life as an analyst. And then I'm like, oh, some of the stuff, knowing certain things that they did in their relationships or some of the things they accepted in the relationships, I was like, I don't know. And then giving them guidance, like their higher, like I believe that we're tapping into our higher selves, information, and you give them the guidance, and then we're human and they fall back into patterns. That was hard to see when you have to interact with these people daily or weekly. I just wasn't, after a while, I'm like, no, that's why strangers are great. Reading for strangers is where it's at. So Donna says, I wasn't planning on a low buy per se, but there haven't been any decks I had to have. I have 2 pre-orders from last year coming, but nothing purchased so far this year. Yeah, I think that, the kind of readings I'm doing now calls for certain decks, and I've already pretty much have them. There's only 2 I'm getting ready to get. I've talked a lot about this. I want to get into paranormal type of readings, and I have 2 decks that I think would fit the bill. But really, all the other decks, like love readings, career readings, life purpose readings, spiritual readings, I have all those decks. General life readings, Let's see. What I did was, so Donna says, what I did was make a seasonal roster to try to work with all or most of my decks throughout the year. I love working with my decks seasonally. I find it super helpful when your collection gets to a certain size. You want to find different ways to work with your decks. Some people, are very intentional about grabbing their decks and working with them. Some of us need a little help. I too try to work with decks seasonally. Or by like astrological influence. So right now we're in Aquarian season. So I've been working with decks that feel more Aquarian-esque. But typically I use the seasonal model to be able to touch all of my decks. Hey friend, Belle, how are you doing? Welcome, welcome. So let's talk about the decks. So I share with you what was on my reading table so far, this for February, but let's talk about January. Let's get into that while I have you. Okay, so Oracle. Let's get into Oracle. I was gifted this deck by Donna. She is one of my Poised Elite members, but she's also a dear friend and my co-host on Artistry of Cartomancy. And she sent me this deck. It's the emotional card deck. Sorry if you can hear background noises. My husband and daughter are home. Um, and I love it. I absolutely love this deck. And at the moment I got it, I began to use it for client readings. I tested it out for a couple of readings for myself, but I started using it almost immediately for other people, right? And it's just so spot on. And you could use it for career readings. You could use it for love readings, especially since it's the emotional card deck, or interpersonal relationship readings. You know what I'm saying? Not necessarily just romantic. And it's got a little script here, or you could just follow the keywords, or you can look at the coloring of the deck. Exhaustion. It was so funny. I had a client reading and the Six of Cups came up, and then this card jumped. Nostalgia. Faith. Introspection. Joy. Gratitude. Love. Skepticism. Hold on, I want to do something. Hold on. Take this off. Okay. Reflection. Letting go. Anxiety. And to that end, some people they need art, like more than just a word, a keyword, and a statement here or a key phrase or something like that. And I get that. For me, where I'm at in my Oracle reading journey, this is just plenty, a keyword. I've even worked with decks successfully with no keywords, nothing but the art, and that's fine too. And you don't have to, you're not obligated to read all this text. It sometimes can be super helpful when you're reading, for someone and you say, you know what, I'm intuitively called to read this message. And then you say anticipation. Anticipation is the desire for the future, filling you with energy and motivation. When anticipation arises, it will guide your direction and inspire you to work toward your goals. Let anticipation fuel your success. I did a client reading last night, and this young lady is in a long distance relationship, and she was like, I wonder how the guy that I'm getting ready to go, I'm traveling to this part of the world or country or whatever. She has friends and family there too, I believe. It's not just for this guy. She's like, I wonder how he's feeling about me coming. And then this anticipation card came up, and she's like, oh my goodness. And she's expressed to me after the reading, like I could tell that he's getting excited, like he's planning all these different things he wants me to do. But she didn't tell me that before. So it was like spot on. Doubt. Curiosity. Dilemma. So it's got, I don't even know how many cards. Does it say? It doesn't say. I don't think. No. Oh, 56 cards. It's 56 cards. So I'll stop there because I got more decks to show you. Got more decks to show you. Yes. Oracle is my jam. I have way more Oracle decks than I do Tarot, but that's not because I love Oracle more than Tarot. I actually love Tarot as well. I'm just super picky about how takes on, or interpretations of Tarot cards, because it is a 78 card system typically, right? And I just don't take it lightly. I want to make sure it makes sense for me. But Oracle, it's like, Oracle gives that freedom for the deck creator to make their own systems, their own card meanings, their own interpretations and takes on, whatever direction they want to go to for their deck. So I usually will gravitate towards buying more oracle decks, more career decks, love decks, etc. So yeah, let me look at my next deck. Okay, these next two, I'm going to show them together. They are old. I think I got these decks. Let me see if I can find out. I have my spreadsheet. Let's go to Oracle. Okay, this one I got in 2017. It is called the Deer Heart Oracle. I used this. I haven't used it. Well, let me say this. I haven't used this in a really long time. And the other one, when did I get it? Also in 2017. So these are old. And I used to use them all the time when I was getting into reading Oracle, like indie Oracle. So here it is. There's 2 editions, but I end up combining them. So here's the first edition. And since it was the same size, but just different backs, I was like, it's fine. And there is some overlapping cards, but I don't care. Here's the second edition. This deck right here. I love it. I love the art style. It's available, I want to say, either on Make Playing Cards or Printer Studio. I can't remember. I remember looking it up a while back, not too long ago. And it's still available. I think both editions. Here's Wounded. But I connected with it so much, used it all the time back in the day. And the creator was working on her second edition, and she asked me if I would like to get a copy, an advanced copy of her second edition. I'm like, absolutely. And so this was the deck I would use as an opening oracle reading to a greater tarot reading spread for clients or for people before I was collecting money. Just like, I'm going to do an opening oracle reading, give us like the pulse of what we need to focus on or what's really going on here. And then we're going to go into your questions for the tarot. Just letting go. And I connected so well to it. And so for old time's sake, I pulled it out for a client reading. It was like I think it was either a birthday reading or a New Year's reading. Can't remember. And like, when you have connected with an old friend that you haven't seen in a long time and you wonder, like, are we going to be able to vibe like we used to? We vibed like we used to. And I don't know. I love it. The original art, the feel of it. I love an oracle deck that is tarot size. Y'all know how I feel about that for those who follow me a long time. Yeah. Here's darkness, conflict. And because it's Deer Heart Oracle, there's a lot of anatomical hearts. That's the other thing I'm into. Anatomical hearts versus traditional looking art, heart. I like an anatomical heart. So then what I do is I paired this deck with this other one that I was using last month. So I reconnected with these decks. And this one is the Oracle of Nightmares. Also still available, I think, on Printer Studio. Pretty sure it's Printer Studio this one's available on. I don't think it's on Make Playing Cards, but I could be wrong. But it's Oracle of Nightmares. And so what I would do is I would have 4 cards of each. These at the top, 4 across, light facing energies cards. And then this is what's in the shadow, something difficult for the querent to see, something in their blind spot. Shadow doesn't always necessarily mean bad. It could just be something that, they can't really see or feel versus what's in the light. And what's in the light facing energies isn't always totally good. It's just what's in your right here in front of you, something you intentionally brought forth, what you can see clearly, right? And so let's say we got protection over intuition. So use your intuition, lean into your intuition to protect you. You feel like you really need protection. Your heart needs to be protected. Well, listen to your intuition. Maybe you've been shunning your intuition, second guessing it, right? So then I would pull four of these, and each card would have their little pairing. So I'm going to show you some more of these. They are dark, so it's kind of hard to see even the back. See a little skeleton person. Here's Chris. Some people would find it too spooky. I don't. This creator, I think it's Ariana Siegel. She also created the White Rabbit Oracle, which I'm also a huge fan of. And that too is available, I'm pretty sure, on either her website or Printer Studio. It's liberation. It's kind of hard to see them, huh? There's doubt. So I was like, this is an old practice I had in my readings. And it was something I always did for every single reading, even like short readings. Even if somebody had like a quick love question, I'm like, well, let me bust out these cards and get the opening oracle reading for you. I would do that every single time. And then after a while, I gradually moved away from that and only did it for maybe some of my larger spreads. Disquiet. I love the keywords too. But I really was like, wow, this is so cool. And so I've been working with it again. Here's dread. Okay, for those of you who do not like clowns, turn away. Some of us do not like clowns. We're a little fearful of them. Let's see. Here's possibilities. Wounds. So I'll stop there. But I have quite a few decks from this creator. And I have a couple of Lenormand decks from Ariana Siegel. I have both editions of the White Rabbit Oracle. Love that deck. So yeah. And this is a different creator. I forgot her name. Pan Art. I think it's the creator's name. Okay, let's set these to the side. Let's see what you all. Let's see what you all are saying. Okay. Donna says, I'm reverse, more tarot than oracle because I'm picky about oracle. And that's understandable. I know some of my friends in this community are the same. They're like, I don't know about oracle. They came to cartomancy by way of tarot. So they're a little bit like, I only want to work with ones I really vibe with. And that makes sense. But yeah, I'm picky about tarot, like super picky. Because really, you could work with one or two tarot decks, maybe just one, right? I'm a collector, so I can't just work with one. But you could theoretically work with one, but it's like a smorgasbord for oracle for me. I'm picky, but still have more decks than I ever thought I would. I know, right? I thought I was going to be like 50 and that's it. It's going to be 50, maybe 10 to 20 tarot and the rest oracle. I think I'm knocking 300. Yeah, me too. Thank you. Oh my goodness. Thank you for that. I appreciate you. I appreciate you doing that for me. $2 super chat. What a gift. And I appreciate it. And guess what? I'm going to use that. There's this little juice spot. I'm going to give me for my birthday. I'm going to give me a little organic pineapple juice. Yes, yes. Thank you. I love my oracles, but I need certain things and not other things to vibe with them. Yes. I don't. And here's the thing about getting oracle decks. If I end up having to struggle with one, like more than like 2 cards and say a 48 card deck, I might not get it because I'm not that type of person who likes to take out the cards out of the deck. And I don't like that. I like to be able to use my entire deck. I do not want to take cards out unless I absolutely have to. Now, with that being said, with tarot, sometimes there will be bonus cards. It might be an 80 card deck versus 78. They might have an extra lovers card. And so you could pick or choose. I still end up keeping in all the cards in that deck because I'm just kind of weird that way. Like, I don't like taking out cards. So if I struggle with multiple cards in a particular deck, whether it's tarot or oracle or Lenormand, I'm just going to not buy it because I got to vibe with it entirely now. I got too many decks to be sitting up here getting a deck that I'm like only liking a few of the cards. Cannot do it. Will not do it. If I strongly dislike even one card in a tarot, I won't get it. Exactly. And there was probably a time, I will admit, back in the day, I would go ahead and get the deck. I'd be like, oh, if that card comes about, I just won't focus too much on it. I end up not using it. What ends up happening is I end up don't use the deck. And then I feel bad and I feel guilty. And then I'm like, there it is sitting on my shelf. I have a few that I'm probably either going to try to sell out here to some people who have expressed interest in decks. And so I'm excited. I'm going to be like, hey, I'm going to put on a little sale in the local women's group. And I'm going to say, hey, I got decks for sale for so many 100 pesos. And you can buy it. And they can buy that deck that I'm thinking of a particular one. I'm like, I cannot stand that card. Never again will I do that. All right. So now let's look at the next ones. Okay. So I'm going to talk about this one and these over here. So we're almost through the oracle, and then we're going to get through the tarot that I was loving on in January. So I have this one. This is a Hay House deck. It's a 52 card deck, Self-Care Wisdom Cards by Cheryl Richardson, artwork by Joe Podmore. I started using this one with the tarot deck I'm going to show you all in a moment. And I love a good self-care, self-love oracle. I'm always here for it. I now have amassed 1, 2, 3, 4. I think I have like 4 self-care decks, like designated for self-care. But I really like this one. It may not work for everyone, and I'll show you why in a moment. It says, what if being kind to yourself really could change everything? That's what it says on the inside. It's got a little card. There's no guidebook. You don't need a guidebook. It's got a little card. And then let's go through some of them. So we have here growth. But here's why people may not gravitate towards it. A, because there isn't a guidebook. And B, because the backs, I guess you could say, have text on it. I don't care about that. I don't care. But look at the gorgeous artwork. Let's see if I can show you. It says growth. Evolution starts when you leave your comfort zone. Get comfortable with being uncomfortable. Yes. Success. Today is a really good day. You're in the flow. Problems are solved quickly and easily. Helpful people show up for you, and unexpected gifts fall into your lap. And so it is. And what I like about this is almost like little affirmations, right? So we have that. I love the color palette, the softness to it. Let's see. Kindness. I won't read all the backs just for time's sake. Security. It looks like it's like bank deposit slips. And it says true security comes from having a reserve of time, space, energy, personal power, and love. Oh, it's raining. I bet we're going to get a rainbow. Make deposits in all of these accounts and you'll be a wealthy person indeed. So you have deposit into a reserve of time, space, energy, personal power, and love. Just love that. Authenticity. Keep going. I like this one. Priorities. I hope the power stays on. Because if it cuts out, friends, I'm sorry. That's why I want to hurry up. I'll try to get back on here as soon as possible, but, and then shine. And one more. Patience. Such a pretty deck. All right, let me get through these here tarot decks. I'm worried. I'm like, oh, I knew it was going to rain. I don't want to have to get the generator out. Okay, last one of the Oracle. The Faceted Garden Oracle. I've been working with this just for readings for myself. And it's by Claire Mack. It's an indie deck. I don't know if it's available for sale. I haven't checked. But here's the card backs. It's gilded and it's gorgeous. Core. I have the Illuminated Earth Oracle as well. I do. And that's the first deck. And I think she has a tarot deck. I don't have that one yet. Gemstones. How pretty. Entwined. Yeah, it's a little abstract, but this is original art. I love different kinds of keywords, and I love different takes on keywords. This is passage. Pretty. Let's see what we got. Seeds. Fall, like the season, autumn, right? But it also could be like a fall. Let's see. Birth. Oh, that's gorgeous. I'm pretty sure I have a full flip through. If I have flip throughs of the decks I'm talking about in this live, I will link it in the description box after we're done. So you could look at the full flip through. One more. We have Scarecrow. So I've been using this deck. I will pull 3 and have it like on my reading. I'm looking at the cards I got here. I got 3 cards. I have them on my reading table, and they're messages for me. And I usually keep them up for like 1 to 2 weeks, and then I shuffle them and pull out something new, or I work with the entirely different deck. One more. I keep saying one more. Thaw. Isn't that gorgeous? So gorgeous. So that is the Faceted Garden Oracle. All right, let me put you to the side. Now let's get into these here tarot decks. Let's see. You're learning. Well, hey, thank you. Thank you so much. Is it Winnicaswet? Let me know how you pronounce it. I want to make sure I pronounce it correctly. But I thank you. Thank you for your generous gifts. I appreciate it. It definitely supports the channel. I just go pumping it right back into the channel. Like, there's some new things I got to get. Cords that go out. And people will be like, did you know that you uploaded a video that I can't hear you? I'm like, oh, I should have listened back. And now I got to get a new wire. So thank you. But I'm going to treat myself to a yummy beverage, a yummy fruit stand beverage for my birthday. Okay, Donna says, this has low-key been on my wish list for a long time. The Faceted Garden is so good. And it is like, I'm worried about if I got this deck, would I want to pick up the Illuminated Earth, or will they be similar? They're not. They have their own vibe, their own energy. So if you have the Illuminated Earth, or you have it, it is different. Not just because this one's gilded, different kinds of cards. It has its own vibe, and I love that. And I don't feel bad about having both of them. So I'm very happy I have this, and I've been very intentional about bringing it out and using it. So yeah. Tarot, January. at the end of December 2025, going into January, I was like, I want to go to my old school decks, ones I haven't worked with in a long time. And so I got this one. This is the indie edition of the Luna Soul, I guess the first edition of the Luna Soul Tarot by Mike Madaglia. And I'm going to look. I'm kind of having fun looking at when did I get said deck? Because it's like, how long have I had you? All right. When did I get you? How can I see you? I know you're on there. There it is. So I got this one, the day before my birthday, February 9th, 2019. This one. I like this edition more than the one by Sterling Ethos, I think, because it was like, I guess, I don't know, I like this cardstock better. Now, a couple of things about this deck that I didn't pay attention to back in the day when I got it, but that's okay, is they switch the strength and the justice cards. So strength is card 11, okay, and justice is card 8. That could be problematic for some people. And then when I got it, I didn't even think I paid attention to the switch. I didn't even care. And then I used it all the time. Let me show you the cards. And then I stopped using it. And then I got back to using it again. I was going to take a little a course, a day. It wasn't even a day course, like an hour or so course through Ethany. You know Ethany, right? It was like a New Year's prep kind of course. And I said, I want to use a deck I haven't touched in a while. So I got this one, and one of her assignments was to lay out all the majors in front of you. So I did that. And that's when I realized, I'm like, oh, it was a switch. Some people can't stand when the cards are switched. They just can't. And I can understand why, but it's so funny how my mind just didn't pick up on it. And then I said, okay, I don't care. I'm going to intentionally use it in January. So I made it one of my working decks to work with in January. So you have 5 of Swords. How do you all feel about that? Do you mind the switch of the strength and the justice cards? Does it bother you? There's 5 of Cups. I love the art. I love the color palette. Here's the card backs. I love the way it feels when I overhand or riffle shuffle. Here's the Queen of Cups. So I was really reconnecting with this deck and having a good time. I'm being very intentional this year, and I'm shopping my collection. So if you are in a no-buy or low-buy depth year, shop your collection. I'm sure there is decks you have not touched since you bought it. I'm sure, at least for me. I have some decks that are still in their wrapping. Stay tuned, friends. There will be some discussions and some flip throughs of decks I've had for years that I haven't opened. Let's see, here's 7 of Swords. King of Swords. Ace of Disc. The Hermit. And some of you know about me working with these decks. If you follow my Facebook page, Abundant Life Tarot, you saw in real time when I was talking about, like, oh my gosh, I started working with this deck again, and I can't believe I hadn't worked with it in so many years. So if you're on Facebook, I know not everybody's on social media or Facebook, but if you are, consider following me there. I try to be pretty active over there now. Oh, here's the Hierophant. And here's the High Priestess. You see that? Okay. That is the Luna Soul Tarot. Luna Soul. Yes, it is. It is the Luna Soul. One of my faves. It's got this little guidebook. It's the first edition. It's an oldie. Got it in 2019. Put this away. Hi, Adam. Welcome. One of my channel friends and my Facebook friends. We know ka. We know ka. Yes, we know ka. Sweat. Perfect. Oh, thank you. I have to get some clarification on the pronunciation. I pride myself on making an effort to pronounce things correctly. Names, things, people, places. That's the thing for me. Okay, so you don't have either. You don't have the illuminated earth or the faceted garden. You can't go wrong with like either one you want to get, but right now I'm on the faceted garden hype, but I've equally fallen in love with the more earthier vibes of the illuminated earth. Abundant lifers, that's what we all are over here. Yes, we are. We right now you came in right on time, friend, because this person, my friend Adam, has a massive tarot collection. No oracle, right? No oracle. So right now what we're doing is we're talking about the decks I was vibing with in January of this year. At the start of the year, I already discussed the oracle. We caught up on some books and things, just catching up and hanging out. So you are right on time since you're not really into oracle. All right. I got Luna's Soul Tarot a long time ago, but never ever used it. Yeah. I used it a lot when I first got it, and then I put it on the shelf. And of course you buy other decks and it becomes forgotten. I said, nope, not this year. I am shopping my collection this year. I don't mind the switch because I work with Bon Marseille and RWS. And so that was another thing, Adam, we talked about. How do you feel about when the Justice and the Strength card is switched? When Strength is card 11 and Justice is card 8. Do you care? Do you not care? And so I've arrived to the conclusion in this journey, in this part of my tarot journey, I don't care. Perhaps maybe subconsciously I did. And maybe that's why I end up not using this deck as often as I would like. I don't know. I don't think I usually care though, because the new era elements, I think, tarot switches. Yes, it does have a very light, feathery, easy breezy energy. It sure does. It sure does. So the next deck I want to talk to you all about, as it's torrentially raining now, is one I use every single year for a specific purpose, and that is the Spirit Within Tarot by Stephen Bright. It's a red feather deck, red feather shifter tarot deck. I use it every year for my 12-month spread for New Year's readings. So I'll pull a tarot card and then an oracle card to go with it for 12 months. And I do it for clients or do it for myself when I'm up for it. I didn't do it this year. I just was like, I'm tired. But I did do a few New Year's readings for clients. And so, of course, this is one of my go-tos. It's got a great little guidebook. Let me show you. Let's see. It's just like that. And nice and handy. Here's the guides or the backs and all the guides. Here's the backs. Reversible. It's silhouettes. Some people may not like that. I do. It works so well. And when I first got this deck, I don't know, let me see when I got it. I'm having fun looking it up. Spirit Within, I just saw you. There you are. November 29th, 2017 is when I purchased this deck. So, yeah. When I got it, I was using it all the time. It actually, for how old it is, in that it's like the more glossy finish, is held up pretty nicely. I mean, there's some, obviously the sides are a bit janky, but I use it a lot in client readings, both like private clients, hotline clients, readings for myself. And then over time, it just evolved to me working with it for my New Year's spreads. I don't know why. I don't know why there's some, for me, some decks that are designated for different types of readings, but they are. The Empress. The Wheel of Fortune. Three of Swords. Isn't that a brilliant Three of Swords? Oh, a little blood trail. You can't see it, can you? Off the Band-Aids. Six of Swords. I love the take of the change of the coloring in the suit of swords. Traditionally, it'd be more like a stilly blue or gray. But here we have a different take on the coloring. Even colors can give you direction on interpretations. There's Eight of Swords. Let's find some differences. Here's the Devil. Love this Devil. The baby reaching up to the Devil. There's Simone. This might be one I intentionally work with outside of New Year's readings. Here's the Tower. Here's the High Priestess. And Temperance. And Judgment. Okay, stop there. It's a great deck for newbies and seasoned readers. To me, like, I could see newbies working with it. You've got a little guidebook you can follow. It follows the Rider-Waite-Smith system. You can't go wrong with it. And it's got silhouettes, so, some people might appreciate that because it feels a little bit more inclusive when it's just silhouettes. I just like the aesthetic, too, of, like, the black silhouette of a person against beautiful colors. I just like that. Oh, thank you. Winoka. Thank you. I'll make sure. Actually, I want to start your pronunciation. I want to save it. Winoka. Adam says, I don't mind about card switches between systems. I use all three. Rider-Waite-Smith, Thoth, Marseille, in that order of preference. I like the changes it can give fresh angles. Me too. I feel the same, Adam. I think you and I vibe on that. And that's my take on it as well, in that order. Rider-Waite-Smith, Thoth, and then Marseille. I only have one real true Marseille deck, and that's from Auntie Kay's Tarot. She created a beautifully inclusive, diverse Marseille deck. And I want to start studying Marseille a bit more. But I have a few Thoth-based decks as well. Probably quite a few. I used to be very rigid. All cards with original names, one Rider-Waite-Smith system. Anything else was a deal breaker. I'm a Scorpio Sun, Leo rising. Then over time, I relaxed and experimented out for sure. For sure. Donna says, me too, Adam. I like all different decks and divination systems. It's like speaking different languages, right? How well versed are you with all the divination systems? It's like me encountering several people out here. Living abroad has been eye-opening. People knowing 3, 4 languages. And I'm like, I know one. Barely learning 2, but I love trying different ways of working with the cards, different cartomancy systems. I've been getting into casting charms. Also scrying. That's been something I've always been into. I used to dabble with pendulums, but I do love to crystal gaze and scry. So it's like tapping different aspects of your intuition. Yes, yes. Adam says, Spirit Within Tarot is a great deck. Another one I haven't never used. It's a practical deck, an all-rounder, discreet and subtle. It really is. You can use it in all kinds of readings and just navigate so easily. And it's just, you could go as in depth as you want to in the meanings or just as bare minimum as you need to. Sometimes less is more. In some tarot decks, this one makes maximum use of its minimalism. Ooh, you need to, you're so good with descriptions of decks, by the way. I always say that. You're so good. That could be like a tagline on on Steven's sell page of this deck. Chris, hey, welcome. How are you doing, friend? Elemental Cartomancy. I haven't seen you in a bit, but I haven't been here, have I? I've been MIA. Welcome. Thank you for being here. Hey. Okay. Oh, wow. So you just speak English and Spanish. I'm English, but live in Barcelona 20 years now, half of my life. Dang. I still find that amazing. People who can speak two languages. I'm like, and in America, it was like, yeah, they'd be like, yeah, you got to take a other language part of your requirements to graduate from high school. And I did. I took French for several years. I tried Spanish, wasn't very good at it. And then I took French for 4 years, got up the upper levels of studying French, but it didn't matter because I never really got to practice it. And so I forgot it. And truth be told, I just felt like in America, they just kind of harp on, you need to master English. English is the supreme language. Don't worry about the rest. And then I come here and I'm all humbled and sheepish because everybody else is speaking a gang of languages. And here I am, like, people are kind though. They don't, but some people get a little hoity-toity, like, oh, you only know one language. I'm like, yeah. Barcelona, I would love to visit. My sister loves it. I think she's been twice, and we were supposed to go, and then the pandemic broke out, and then didn't make it. They start foreign language learning way too late in the U.S. You're right. If we got to start when they're little and impressionable. My next door neighbor, she has a daycare center, and I hear them. I hear some cartoons, or it's like her doing lessons in English. Obviously, they're Dominican, so they're speaking their main language is Spanish. But I'll hear the kids and say things, a few words in English. I'm like, wow, I should have been learning when I was a little girl. I should have been teaching my kids that. Hi, thank you. Muchas gracias. I am. I'm still on there. Let's see. Chris says, I still get random French coming back to me from my school days, right? And sometimes it'll pop up. And for me, it actually did come in handy because the Dominican Republic is next door to Haiti. So there's a lot of Haitian people here who speak either French or French Creole. And so sometimes a word will come up, it'll come up to me. I'll be scrambling my brain. I want to think of it in English, and then I'll utter it in French, and then it'll be like, oh, or, I'll say it in Spanish, but then it'll sound French. So it's like the wires are crossed when I'm trying to speak to people. But people are so lovely and kind and patient. Hi, welcome. Thank you for being here. We're just over here talking languages and divination tools and decks. I'm glad you're here. I love your name. Love it. Adam asks, do you have any foreign language tarot decks? I do. My sister, who visited Spain, I think it might have been the Barcelona trip, she got me a Spanish oracle deck. And I have it. I could try to grab it. Maybe it's a very short list. I only have a tarot deck. There it is. Let's see if I can find it. So my husband was volunteering at the library And they got a deck in. Somebody left it or donated it, and they didn't know what to do with it. They don't have any decks at this library, and so they were like, "Well, if your wife wants it, she can have it." So it's the Rider-Waite-Smith, but in Spanish. I think I talked about it on Instagram. Here it is, and I'll show you. I'll try to grab the Oracle deck. Pretty backs. Pretty backs. And so I'll show you. I mean, it's just a traditional, it's got a guidebook. Let's see. All in Spanish. That's fine. And this will be a great way to practice, right? I can get my practice on. Let me show you some of the cards that actually, here, La Templanza, Temperance. Let's see. As de Bastos, Ace of Wands. Sota de Bastos. Page of Wands. Reina de Oros. So Oros is gold, but in this case, we say pentacles or coins. Rey de Oros. Yep, you got it, friend. I got me a little beverage, a little cerveza in a copper cup. So I have this deck. Let me see. This one. El Tarot de las Brujas. Now, it's an oracle deck. It says tarot, but this is the one that my sister got in Spain. My son went to Brazil and got a deck, the African Goddess Rising Oracle, but it's in Portuguese, but he keeps forgetting it when he comes to visit. He's supposed to bring it to me. He took a picture of it, but he didn't deliver it. La Bruja de las Marias. It has a guidebook. Here's the card backs. Oh, the Sad Witch. La Bruja Triste. What's that? Can you see that? The Modern Witch. Now, when I got this deck, I was in California, and I wouldn't have known any of these before living here. I wouldn't know any of them, like, the Modern Witch. Wouldn't have known that. The Sad Witch. Wouldn't have known Triste means sad. Bare bones understanding. I knew hola, adios, gracias, buenas noches. That's about it. That was about it. And I live in California. It's a shame. Okay. The Witch of Fire. This is a cool deck. And so I could practice, right? I could practice doing something I love, working with the cards, practicing my language skills. So yeah, I do. I have 2 decks that are in Spanish. 1 deck on the way that's in Portuguese. Whenever he remembers to bring it, my son. Okay. Yes. Cheers. Thank you for asking, Chris. So my oldest, he's Dante. He just turned 28 yesterday. Yes, I'm an old mama. My middle son, Daniel, he'll be turning 24 this year because they're 4 years apart. And then my youngest daughter, Ella, she is 14. She'll be turning 15 this year. So quite the age gaps. But my oldest, the Aquarian, Dante, oh my goodness, me and him, he's the only one that really digs cards like I do. Like when he comes to visit, he's shopping my collection. He's seeing what decks he can get. And he reads cards to the point that he was actually thinking about going pro. But then life took him in a different direction, and he still reads cards for himself and his friends. So, yeah. My other two kids, they're amused by my my interest, but they won't turn down a reading if I feel called to do a reading for them. But they're amused. Oh my goodness. So Aimee the Gray, I love saying your name. I grew up around Canadian French speakers. Then the French they taught us in school was completely different. Oh, interesting. We have a lot of French Canadians here. And I love their accent. Absolutely love their accents. It's slightly different than just like straight up Canadian folk. It's so, I don't know. I just love it. And I'm saying that because I hung out this week with a French Canadian. So it's fresh on my mind. I got some Spanish decks when I was in Gran Canaria. Ooh. Oh, Oracle or Tarot? Okay. You speak a German dialect and second language is English. Oh, see, I'm jealous of you. And they say that, or at least I'm told out here, is that they find that English is similar to German, or like we're more the same than, say, Spanish to Italian, or, yeah. That's okay. That's okay. Adam says, I have a few Spanish, French, and Italian decks. I only accept these three in English. I can understand. Otherwise, I'd be lost. Like I know there are amazing Asian-based decks. I don't know if I have any gorgeous artwork, but I'm like, I really would be lost. I would have to definitely bust out the translator app, take pictures, and then get the meanings because I wouldn't be able to navigate it. Okay, I love. Is it Jonasa Joust Tarot, which is oh my goodness. I'm just going to leave that on the screen. I don't want to mispronounce. Yeah. Aw. I like to watch French and Dutch Tarot too for practice. Oh, that's a good idea. That's a very good idea. Some channels I do follow. And I think I follow a couple in Italian creators and French creators. And yeah, I cheat and I have like the subtitles on there, but I love what they have to say. I love reading their comment section too. We have our Tarot Tube community are very thoughtful in their comments, very giving in what they share. And I appreciate that. And so it's no different that, in other countries. I love reading the comment section. Sometimes I go straight to the comment section first on any video. I don't care what topic. Yeah, I wouldn't say that, but I find the words in English shorter and pointier in meaning. That's interesting. So between German, to me, it does sound different. Like when you're listening to someone speak German and then English. And so when people were telling me it's more similar, I'm like, it doesn't sound like it. But I appreciate the distinction that you share, that you find the words in English shorter and pointier. Okay. Yep, Chris, 28. I feel so old. You're far too young. You must have had him when you were 2 years old. Close. I was 5 days before I turned 18, and he was due on my 18th birthday on the 10th next week. And I kind of willed it in my mind and my body. Like, I want my own birthday, even if it's just one day. And so he came 5 days earlier. So, yeah, I was a child. I was a teenager. I was a young mama. It's funny about doing tarot readings in different languages, as you can express certain things only in Spanish and certain things only in English. Yeah, that things don't also translate easily, I find. I'm like, oh, okay. That also messes with my mind. I agree with Donna. I wish that in America they would start teaching young people very young, and people do. They take it upon themselves to train their children very little to learn their, another language. Usually because maybe one of the parents speaks another language, right? I wish I would have done that for my children. Coulda, woulda, shoulda, though. Oh, so you can run them all together, and we are like very in English speaking pointed singular words at times. It does sound weird if we run it all together. We do have folks in our language that do run things together, and I even have a hard time understanding it. My husband showed me a video yesterday of some Jamaican fishermen, and totally different dialect, English speaking, but I cannot understand at all what they're saying. Even some states in the United States, I'm like, I don't understand what you just said at all. Can you repeat it? Then I feel bad asking them to repeat it like a third time. It's like, oh my God. Yes and no. It depends on the topic. And sometimes what my kids will just ask for is a general reading. They'll just say, can you just give me a message? If they have a specific question, like they want to ask about back in the day, they would ask sometimes about their love life. I'm like, this is too much. I have a friend I can refer you. Let them give you a reading about your love life. But if it's a general message, career, how they're doing in school, etc., like that, I could do it. Yep. That makes sense. I'm learning something from you today. So I know we digressed, but isn't that the way over here? The abundant lifers like to digress and talk about all sorts of things. So where did I leave off? Okay, so Spirit Within Tarot, was loving it. The next deck I purchased January 1st, 2026, secondhand, from one of my friends, my channel friends. Let me show you. And y'all, if you follow me on Instagram or in the Facebook page, Abundant Life Tarot, you know how I feel about this. So I got it and couldn't stop working with it. I just could not. So this is a new to my collection deck. Many of the decks that I've been talking to you all about, I've owned for a long time. But this one is the newest of the ones that I mentioned in Tarot. I did a flip through, or published a flip through last week. I don't know. It is so Aquarian-esque. It is so my vibe. I love this deck so much, and I didn't expect to love it as much as I do. Here's the card backs. I did not expect. And I think I said something like it's like stepping into a Salvador Dali painting. It's got that energy. Hold on, let me make sure I can show you. I was not expecting to love it so much. I wasn't, because there's so many reasons why I didn't expect to love it so much. I don't like the size. I don't like larger size decks. It's not as large as some of my other tarot decks I have, but for some reason I got over that. So that would have been something I'm not really into, is the size, but it doesn't matter. I fell instantly in love. It's oddball. Like you've got a flying fish in the 5 of Pentacles. I mean, it's amazing. This feels very Salvador Dali right here. When I was a kid, I had a Salvador Dali. It wasn't a paint. Obviously, it's not a painting. It was a poster. And I hung it in my room, and I would always stare into it as I would fall asleep. There are certain clues I was going to be into, like artwork in decks. Like I collected postcards and would kind of use them in oracle ways. I've talked to you all about that, like the early signs of me loving like divination and cards and stuff like that. Started with postcards, certain posters on my wall when I was growing up. And you know, when you do like the origami thing and you do like this, you know, I forget what you call that, and you pick up, you know, and you could predict something. You know what I mean? Like you do like anyways, or the hanged game, mash, I think it's called. You draw out a little hangman. I love stuff like that. I knew I should have known then I was going to be into predictions and things like that. Look at that. This is the Seven of Swords. So I won't show too many of these cards because I did a full flip through. But I love the guidebook. I read it, like it was one of those few times where I grabbed the deck, and before I even looked at the cards, I got into the guidebook. Most times I start with the cards and then I start to really look at the guidebook because it's such an easy read. But I just love what the author had to say. Pamela Love, what she had to say and bring to the table with this deck. And then she, you know, it's like full. Like it's just so good. So good. So needless to say, I couldn't put this one down. I've been doing readings. I did a couple of client readings with it. I did a collective reading on IG with it. Yeah, I couldn't put it down, y'all. I just love it that much. So, and it's a Sterling Ethos deck. They finally got the memo about making sure you have the drawer or the deck, or the drawer style, but like the modern witch tarot irritated my soul because the bottom would fall out and the deck, the cards, the book would fall out. I hated it. So yeah, I'm very, very pleased with this one. Very pleased with this one. Let's see. Oh, you live in a tiny land and the next village over could be hard to understand for me. Dialects are like that, right? It literally is so trippy how you just go over a mountain range and next thing you know, you're dealing with folks who speak the same language but sound totally different. Let's see. Adam says, I find it hard to read for myself, especially about sensitive issues. I'll find my emotions will influence which cards come out. Yeah. That is a thing to consider when you do read for yourself. If I have something that's really a high stakes thing, I will enlist the help or hire a reader. And there's been a few occasions where I have gone to a reader. Most things aren't high stakes. I'm like, oh, what are the energies of me working today? Is it a good day for me to work on the hotlines? Where am I at vibrationally? And I pull some cards for myself. Low stakes. But when I was building our little house here and I was frustrated with everything and I was feeling like, am I doing the right thing? I hired a reader. When I was making some decisions about to move out here, I hired a reader because I needed some objectivity. Oh, I nearly bought because you were so in love with it, right? And it's rare that I have these days. Well, I wouldn't say rare, but I'm not buying as many decks as I used to. But that instant love affair happened. Some decks are slow burn connections for me, but this one, maybe because it's got that Aquarian vibe, I was in love. And I used it for readings for myself, readings for others, collective readings, and it just speaks to me. Love, love, love the Infinite Dora Tarot. The only thing in the cardstock is unusual, like no other. It is unusual. It is unusual. Some people probably wouldn't like the borders, but you could trim the borders. You can make the deck smaller and still the artwork would be intact. Have you heard of Discovering Beauty Tarot? You may like this one. It's very ancestral, abstract, and powerful. No, but here's what I'm going to do. I am going to snip this because you always make some recommendations to decks and then I end up falling in love and have to have it. So I'm going to check it out. The Heaven Hell Thingy. Okay, that I think I think that's another one of those little divinatory games, right? Magic 8 Ball. I own like two of them. This kid in my neighborhood broke one that I had. He like took it and broke it, and then all the stuff spilled out. And then I, maybe a year later, got another one. Love a Magic 8 Ball. I totally was into that too. What I like about the Infinite Door is its rebellious, awkward cardstock, card size, coffin oddball box, the stringy book. Oh yeah, I love this guidebook too. It's like totally different. I like that it doesn't have like the traditional binding, if you will. It doesn't fit in, and that's what makes it special. I agree. It's rebellious like an Aquarian. Oh, yes. A Magic 8 Ball was everything until it started getting funky. And that's why I wasn't so mad that the guy broke it. Bully, neighborhood bully. Because after a while, the bubbles started constantly like getting in the little box where you would shake it. And it's, I forgot the name of the stuff that's in it. Is it mercury? I don't know. But you shake it and then like they'll answer. Well, you ask a question. Then you shake it. Then you look. And then it tells you the answer. I found that sometimes the same answers kept coming up. Then I got a new 8 Ball, and then it worked until it didn't work anymore. Yes, it's so beautiful. So this is the newest one I'm talking about today. It is gorgeous. They did an excellent job with it. Now, let me go back to my list. The next two, I had this one. It is The Terror of Oneness by Robin Voicey. I got this one for my birthday in 2023. Oh my God, it's coming down. You probably can't hear the rain, but it's coming down. And it's very tropical. I got it because one of the motifs I love is succulents. I took that as a sign that I needed this deck in my life, but I also love many other things about it. And the like orange creamsicle matte gilding. Card backs are pretty. And I love the perspective shift where it's like you're looking out versus like, you'll see what I mean. Here's Wheel of Fortune. 9 of Wands. The Sun. I feel like this deck marked my time here on the island. Look, this is like what it is today. Outside, stormy. 5 of Cups. Here's the Tower. Love this deck so much. I love doing it for like life purpose readings for myself and others, like self-care type of readings, spiritual readings. Works wonderfully in love readings too, by the way. But I tend to gravitate towards those other topics with it. Let's see. Here's the 4 of Pentacles. Six of Wands. You're having your picture taken. You're a celebrity. There's some bonus cards. I think there's like several bonus cards. Here's Higher Self. 9 of Cups. So pretty. Oh my gosh. Here's 5 of Wands. I will definitely link the description, or in the description box, the link to the full flip through. I might even did a live. I don't remember, but there's multiple lovers cards. Here's a singular person depicted. Here's the Empress. There's a balance of objects, animals, and people. I don't always want a full-on 100% animal deck. I do have those in my collection. I just prefer to have a balance. And this deck does that. Here's Temperance. Look at the Four of Cups. The black and white at the bottom, but then above the hand, there's like the leaves color. This is the Four of Cups. Yeah. And one more. Two more. Three of Wands. Okay, two more. The Devil. See how the Devil's looking at you, right? Perspective shift. And then traditionally the Judgment, but they've changed the name to Awakening. And that is the gorgeous Tarot of Oneness. Here's the guidebook. It's chunky. Here's the inside. And I was using that one, or this one this month, or January, I should say. That's needy. It was a birthday gift to myself a few years ago now, 3 years ago. I can't believe I've been out here since January 4th, 2021. And I'm recording this. This live is February 6th, 2026. Like an Etch-a-Sketch. Oh, I loved Etch-a-Sketches. And they do. It was disappointing when they started to get all funky and you can't quite work with them anymore. And yes, I've had a couple of Etch-a-Sketches and you use the little things. You got the lines go horizontal or vertical, and then eventually it gets all wonky and weird. Yeah, eventually they do go bust. You got what do you think of the Tarot of Oneness? Donna, what are you thinking about it? How do you get along with it? Tarot of Oneness is the perfect deck for people who are wary of tarot, fearful of having a reading because it's just so warm and positive. I agree. It's a great intro into working with the tarot. Like, you all remember Colette Baron Reed's The Good Tarot, and people like the diehard tarot collectors were like, ugh. And they're like, it's too good. And I can't get into it for whatever reason, right? I think I owned it for a little while and then I sold it or passed it on. But I think it was trying to be something like this. Palatable. It still has some challenging cards or challenging depictions, but everybody could use it. And I like the perspective shift. So, yeah. Celtic Spirit Tarot, a recent new release, is a great one for positive leaning readings. Very earthy, Arthurian feeling with an extra suit spirit as a third element. And see, when Adam Bluefire is in my chat or on the Facebook page making recommendations, y'all go ahead and Google the decks he recommends, because he knows what time it is. And the mass market decks that you find that are just released, or even ones that have been out for years that I never heard of before, I'm always impressed. Always impressed. Adam has his pulse on the market. The change of perspective is why I bought it, but I don't use it. Yeah, I don't always grab for it, but then when I do grab it off the shelf, I'm always grateful for the reading it delivers. So it's not my go-to. For some people, I think it is a go-to. Someone recently on the channel left me a comment saying, this is my go-to deck, but it's not my go-to. I'll admittedly say it. But when I go to it, like this past month, I'm like, I know this is why I bought you. This reading right here is why you're in my collection. The Devil and Three of Swords cards in the Tarot of Oneness are epic. They are so striking because everything else is so light, bright, positive. And then these two are so different. And also I love the slinking. I think I just saw it. It's the Seven of Swords. And I want to say it's a leopard in the trees. And it's like, I like the cards that are more, I won't say negative. We won't say negative, but the darker cards, the shadowy aspect cards. I like how it just such a contrast to the sunshine of the Tarot of Oneness, right? I've been in Barcelona since late 2006, early 2007, even pre-smartphone, fumbling my way around with no internet at that time. Wow. And how have you been collecting decks that long? How did you find out about these decks? Like before the World Wide Web access. Wow, you've been there a long time. You've been there a long time, friend. A lifetime. One more deck, and I'm going to let y'all go. I promise next month won't be like this. Well, we'll see. Because it just depends on how many decks I reconnect with and bond with. So the next one I want to talk to you all about is one that surprised me. And it was an accident how it came back into my life. The Fountain Tarot. We don't talk much about this one anymore now, do we? I'm going to look and see when I got this copy. I know it's been around a long time. I know there's an indie version. This is the mass market. But I want to say I got my copy. Let me see. Where's the fountain? Don't mind me, friends. I might have to let me control find. Okay, I got it January 13, 2018. Now, the reason why I ended up using it and it became a working deck for this time period. Oh, I'm good. I saw it. Thank you. Okay. The Fountain Tarot. I was cleaning off my shelves and it was at the tip top shelf and I'm cleaning, dusting, moving stuff around and it fell all the way to the ground. Bottom broke out, cards spilled everywhere. And I took that as a sign that I need to use the book. So that's not use the book, use the deck. I love the guidebook too, by the way. So it was like, okay, I'm going to work with it this month. I worked with it on the hotlines. I worked with it in a private client reading. So here it is. Here's the backs. It also has a very modern feel to it, contemporary feel, and airy, Aquarian or air sign energy to it. It's not for everyone. Here's the High Priestess. But it works for me. There's a Chariot. Strength. 5 of Coins. Even the Queen of Wands feels very airy. So now I got to fix the bottom of the box. I'm so sad about it. Don't you hate when you accidentally drop the box or break something or rip a page in the guidebook? It's just, but it is what it is. And it ended up causing me to reconnect with it. And it's still in pristine condition after owning it all these years because I was hardly using it. When I first, just like with mini decks back in the day, when I first got it, I used it all the time. Then I, got other decks that I'm bonded with. And then this one I forgot about. It's a straight shooter as a reader. I love it. Here's the 5 of Wands. So that's the Fountain Tarot. And literally, I did a New Year's cleaning of my reading office space. It needed it bad. Oh my God. It took me 2 solid days to get through all of the cleaning that needed to be done, and dusting and cleaning the fan and sweeping some more and changing out the reading cloth, and because I have crystals upon crystals, so it's painstaking to clean those and move them all. That was an ordeal, but I did it and I was so happy to. But yeah, the fountain literally fell and I just started using it. But it wasn't probably going to be used had that not happened. Let's just keep it real. Yeah, I love it, but I've been kind of precious with it, so I haven't used it a ton. I need to get over that. I get it, because it is an indie deck. It's not mass market, so sometimes we tend to be more precious. I'm sure the internet stays on. We tend to be more precious with our indie decks. So I get that. Found the Discovering Beauty Tarot, and it's really full of emotion. I can't wait to check it out. I'm going to be doing that immediately after we get off of here. The Adam has the recommendations, friends. for sure. My wish list, I keep a spreadsheet. My wish list has probably tripled because of Adam's recommendations. Okay, let's see. No, only during doing tarot since 2020, since the pandemic. Oh my gosh. I feel like you've been collecting for decades. That's how many decks that you've connected me with. Oh, okay. But you've been doing astrology since 96, pre-Spice Girls even. Okay. I think that's another thing I did in the late 80s, early 90s, but I was very much like, those books, they'd be like, get to know your sign, and they come out year over year telling you what your predictions are going to be in all areas of life and what signs you're compatible with, those books. I would get those. That was the extent of my astrology experience. Not much, I know, but that was the thing for me, especially in the 90s. The Fountain Tarot is so Aquarian. It is. If ever a deck could embody a zodiac sign, this deck would be for Aquarius. Absolutely. I think that's why I got it. Yeah, I think that's why. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Some people find the Fountain Tarot cold, kind of similar to Aquarian people. We're warm though. Once you get to know us and we warm up. And it says, I can see why they feel that way. But for me, it's just emotive from a distance, like suspended from space, but still tethered to emotion. See what I'm saying? You have a way with words. Yeah. See, it's too airy. It was almost too airy for me. And my sun sign is Aquarius. But I'm in air season. I'm in my element, my time period. And so it between the fountain and the infinite door, it just made sense, to connect with them. So friends, I have kept you here long enough. Thank you for hanging out with me today. This was so much fun. It's been a while since we connected in this way. And I just want to do a special thank you and shout out to my friend, Winoka. Thank you so much for your super chats. They are much appreciated. I sincerely welcome you to our community over here, and to all of you who are my old day ones. Thank you for hanging in there with me through the pauses, the different types of content I create. I so appreciate you all. You just don't even know. You just don't even know. I hope you know, though. So it's so good to see you, too. Ciao, friend. Ciao. All right. Well, do me a favor on your way out. Please hit the like button. And don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already subscribed. And leave me a comment. What decks were you connecting and vibing with already at the start of 2026? Reconnecting, or if they're new to your collection, that's okay too. I want to hear from you. And let me know how you're doing. You all hang in there, okay? We're all in this thing together. Don't forget. All right. All right. I love hanging with you, Donna. Thank you for being here. You have a wonderful weekend as well. Thank you for being here. And Chris, it's always great to see you and always wonderful to hang out. All right, friends. Bye for now.